So when it comes up to taking pictures and photography, you can use many different pieces of equipment. Number one, you can use film, which basically means you basically go on a film roll, but also means that you have to wait an hour to at least wait to see what your pictures look like. You can either go digital, which basically means that you know what you're getting out of it, but there's also some other options. And I know there's some other options too, but like cheap cameras or cheap toy cameras, which you can use, but not this thing. So, quick thing about this is that I bought this. I'm going to be talking about a piece of old equipment that I bought a couple months ago, or actually a couple years ago, in fact. That I didn't really intend to. I didn't really think that I was going to make a video series on this, where I'm talking about old pieces of equipment. Now, quick thing is that I want to say that before I get into this, I actually will be doing another episode or a few episodes that on this series or something like that. But let's get into the actual piece of equipment right now. So, quick thing is that this is a old camera from the year 2000. It was originally $800, and in inflation, it would be basically $1,268 in today's money, which means that this thing would be a super expensive camera, especially for its time. I bought this thing for $6 at a thrift store just down the road from me, and I am going to show you the camera in a minute. But one quick thing that it does use for the format of its choice, it uses floppy disk, which quick thing, floppy disk have been here since the late, maybe the early 70s. Starting off with the 8-inch disc, then the 5-inch, then the 3.5-inch, which this is what it is. Which floppy disk have been here since basically the 70s. These floppy disks were not intended to be used for cameras. They were mostly used to run computer programs for like the original Macintosh or the Commodore or the Atari. It definitely does seem that floppy disks they were intended to use for programs. But also, another thing is that the original Mavica, released in 1987, used a different format that wasn't floppy disk, but it was it didn't work out so well. I'm not sure about any of this information, but it was it just didn't do well. The original Mavica from 1987 didn't do well, but they did a revision of the Mavica in 1997, which but this is its other cousin or something from the 2000s. I'm about to show you the camera, and here it is. So yeah, I bought this for $6, and I know that this works. In fact, the original battery that's included, this is the battery here, works too. So this thing came out in the year 2000s. There were two models, the FD85, and this is the FD90, which is the higher range. It cost the FD85 cost around $600 or $700, and the FD90 cost around $800, which means that because this thing had two different features. This thing has a it has an 8 times zoom. Actually it has a 16 times digital zoom, which means that you can zoom in pretty far. So, quick thing, so another thing is that this camera, it's kind of big for its time. Of course, it is big. It also has a manual focus as well that you can turn off with an autofocus. It also does use the floppy disk. Right here we have floppy disk. Now, depending on how the resolution is, by the way, this resolution on this camera is 1.6 megapixels, which means that it's not bad for its time, but normally the cameras would be they put it at the resolution of 640 by 480 on the camera. But also, sorry, my throat is kind of clogged. But this thing at this time is it's actually a reasonable it's a reasonable camera for its size. The 8-bit guy did a video with the FD9 with the FD85, which I will put that in the link in the description for all the the video for all the Mavicas. I'm about to show you what the OS looks like. And yes, this thing does work. Yeah, and depending on what the resolution is, you could save around maybe 20 photos on a floppy disk, which is not a bad amount if you think about it. Like, you could probably store up to 30 pictures on a film roll. But also this thing has it actually has it's compatible with a memory stick, which memory stick as in it's basically like an SD card, but it's not an SD card. It's actually compatible with this, which means with the floppy disk adapter, which I'll show you what those look like right now as it is. But for its time, the original the original Mavica from 1997, the revision, by the way, could not read the memory stick because it has to be programmed to know how it works. This thing has a flash as well, but this also has a video capabilities, which they're not great video. In fact, I think if anything, it's better to have a handy cam or something like this on hand, which because this is actually a dedicated video device, this is better. Even though this thing can take pictures, though it's not the same, but it's but also you can look at the pictures beforehand, and since it is on a floppy disk, on most computers in the 2000s, you can normally take the floppy disk and then just insert it into your computer to look at your pictures. So yeah, this has a video out, which means that you can connect it up to a TV or a video capture device if you wanted to. Unfortunately, I don't have any sort of way to view the pictures onto an actual computer, which means that you can't actually view the pictures which I take on this thing. But I do have. I am going to show you the video of the FD85's quality right now. Which, by the way, this is a video from another YouTuber who has much higher subscribers. He's done a video based on Mavicas and other cameras which were competitors to the Mavica. But when thinking about this, this is somewhat of a digital camera because this thing, floppy disk were like a digital media because these had magnetic tape, which meant they were meant they were led or read by a laser or something like that. I'm not sure, but or I think they were read by magnets. I'm not sure, but this is just something quick. If now Now, if you're looking for an old camera to use for like photography, I think that the best option to use, if you were trying to find just something to use, is a film camera. The reason is that film looks a lot better than digital from back then, at least for old stuff. But if you think about it, you have to wait for the film and everything. It's not like it's not like video, which videos normally are stored on different medias like VHS-C or, at this case, High 8, which this is what this camera uses. Give me this one. But if you're using a camera to if you're trying to get if you're trying to take a picture with like a bunch of different cameras and all that, it definitely is recommended to use at least some sort of better camera than this. But if you want something that like has a size of like an old camera, like, or something that looks like a film camera or some sort of thing, but this thing is pretty cool to have into a collection. And also it has the accessory guide, which I will tell you some of the prices that are in here, as you can see with like it even includes a digital link to actually have a digital link between you and Sony, which means that like they used to promote their credit cards back then. But right here is the floppy disk adapter, which you can use for your camera for the Mavica FD90 or FD85. At the time, it cost around okay, let me see. The adapter costs around $79, which is a lot of money. If you were to get a 64 megabytes, not even gigabytes, it would be $139 to pay for an adapter. Now, also another thing you can get is a printer for your floppy disk. So you can take like, let's say you want to take a picture and you're like, okay, I want to get a print because in fact people cared about getting their prints, which I think is kind of like, thinking about it, not even today, no, like I've only gotten one print and that was last year. So you can see the this thing includes camera stuff, in fact, this is the soft carrying case, and at the time it was $19, which actually that's a pretty good deal. It includes tripods and lenses and everything, but at the time this would have probably been a decent camera for the time. And in fact, this is in really good condition. I've showed my teacher this camera, and he was so surprised. And in fact, I actually have like an original price here. It may not come up good, but in fact, okay. So this is the original price thing from Sony, directly from Sony, and if you can see that correctly, this was printed on April 23rd, 2000, which is kind of insane. Which the maximum picture size for it is 1472 by 1104, which is the maximum picture size. 8x optical and 16 digital zoom. 16s digital zoom, but so as advertised, it was $799 for at the time. So basically, that means it's basically over $1,200 in today's money, which is a bit insane. But yeah, this is my video on the Sony Mavica FD90, and I will be talking about this camera next. I will talk about this. I'm not spoiling much about it for this video. I only showed it a few times so I can show you what I mean. But thank you guys for watching this little video for the Sony FD90. I hope you guys like me trying something out, something new. I will think about doing new videos on like other stuff, like other topics that I feel like I want to talk about as well. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment, like, and subscribe. And I hope I did this video well. Otherwise, it's going to be CRAP. So thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Bye.